Sup nerds, I'm CuppaJoey and welcome to our /wedding shaming. Now I'm just going to put a little disclaimer out there that any weddings that were featured that were deemed to be tacky for reasons like there was a bride with Bud Light all over her dress, or the Shrek couple that I've seen 1,000 times, I'm not going to feature any of them because the fact of the matter is the wedding is supposed to be about the couple. If that's what they want, if that's what makes them happy on their big day, then I'm all for it. It's not really hurting anyone, it's not what I would do, but who cares what I think? So I'm just going to feature ones that I think are genuinely quite horrifying for reasons that you're going to see shortly. Can't take the hashtag LuLaRoe out of the girl. How do you row? All of my girls love their leggings surprising their gift bags. Best day of my life. Hashtag LuLaRoe leggings. Hashtag wedding day. Hashtag LuLaRoe wedding. Okay, now for anyone who isn't familiar with LuLaRoe, it will seem like I have completely gone against my whole I won't attack people for having their wedding however they want, even if it kind of looks tacky rule. However, LuLaRoe is a pyramid scheme. It's one of these MLMs that finds people who are desperate to make more money and then forces them to buy stock only to sell it on to their friends and family who don't really want to sell it on. This isn't the first time I've heard of a pyramid scheme actually being involved in someone's wedding, as I heard one of these horror stories from Sensi where they said that they actually invited all of the people underneath them in the Sensi scheme to their wedding and then just completely regretted it because it meant that people that they actually wanted to be there couldn't come. And I have a feeling that this is a similar situation. She will have promoted her leggings at her wedding in an attempt to keep her business going when really it's just a sinking ship. She's going to look back on these wedding pictures and just be absolutely miserable at the fact that she allowed this pyramid scheme to take over one of the most important days of her life. I just feel really sad for this person, to be completely honest. This isn't how anyone should have their wedding, and they definitely shouldn't have their wedding overshadowed by an absolute leech of an organisation that's just trying to take all of their money and then leave them without anything at the end of it. Remember guys, if you have to pay money to be employed, you're not an employee, you're a customer. Okay, so this was just labelled mother of the bride on the right wore a white dress to her daughter's wedding. Yikes. Now, in the comments, the OP actually continues to say, this mum is extra dramatic, cheated on her ex-husband, constantly trying to steal her daughter's thunder. I was sent a save the date and never an actual wedding invite, but that's a whole different story. Bride is as dramatic as mum. This is just slightly painful for me to look at, even as a man. I mean, the whole thing with wearing white at a wedding is that only the bride should be wearing white. There are so many colours that are acceptable that make absolutely beautiful dresses. You know, you can get light blues, you can get light yellows, you can get light pinks. There are so many light, bright, happy colours if you kind of want to go for that light tone like a white would. But anything close to white, off-white, even very light grey, I would say is a no-go area just to be on the safe side. The last thing the bride wants on her wedding day is to be upstaged by anyone else wearing white. It's about them, it is about the bride. So even if you really want to wear white to someone else's wedding, just don't do it, it's not about you. But the thing that gets me about this is that this is her mother. This is her own mother. I genuinely found this painful to look at. The fact that OP actually goes on to say that the mother is constantly trying to steal the daughter's thunder and that she's extra dramatic, cheated on her ex-husband, and now she just wants to upstage everything. Don't do that at your own daughter's wedding, my goodness. I mean, of course, I'm just speaking as an outsider. I don't know the ins and outs of this. I don't know what made her want to wear white to her own daughter's wedding. I mean, she might argue that it looks a little bit more cream or off-white, but even as I said earlier, that's just not acceptable. I can't believe that anyone else would do this, and I just feel so bad for everyone involved in this. It doesn't look like they have a healthy relationship, and the fact that she's trying to one-up her daughter at her own wedding, I think shows that. Wedding update. The restaurant and garden where the wedding was going to be has cancelled on us. So, backyard wedding at my parents' house instead. We'll text everyone this as well, along with the address. Wedding update 2. Since parking in the neighbourhood is limited, we ask that as many people carpool or Uber as possible on that day. Uber may even be more preferable, especially if you want to drink. Plus, taking an Uber means you might be able to help someone who can't work right now make some money. Also, we don't want any neighbours to see all the cars and call the quarantine police. Lol. So that was an update to somebody who has had their wedding cancelled due to COVID-19. So a little bit of backstory. I'm actually in a similar situation myself. My fiance and I were planning to get married in July. And unfortunately, as you can imagine, this has just not happened. It's even more complicated with us because I'm British and she is Brazilian. So we were planning to have, family from around the world come over and be there for the wedding. And it looks like it's going to happen next year. It does suck, but oh my goodness, there's absolutely no way anybody should be breaking social distancing rules for a wedding, because lots of people get close. It's just a petri dish, a human petri dish for this virus to spread. Not only that, as you can see now, the OP actually said, or rather, I don't know if it was the OP, it looks like it's just standard Facebook comment. Someone said, "This is so irresponsible. Please consider all the lives you are putting in danger by hosting a large gathering." To which the bride responded with a Regina George gif of "shut up." Like, no, I'm sorry, but your wedding does not come before important, people's lives. Let's be real here. It's about saving lives. So I'd like to thank the OP of the next post for giving me permission to read this out on my YouTube channel. You're a star. This one's called "Groomsman Fiance Shows Up Late Wearing Sleepwear, Is Jealous of Bride." I was a bridesmaid last summer for a friend I wasn't particularly close to. Her fiance is friends with my boyfriend at the time. Even if I wasn't close to the bride, Kathy, she was pleasant and her family is kind. I listened to all these stories about an ex-friend of the bride named Belinda. Bride and mother of the bride were just venting here and there since Belinda is the fiancée of one of the groomsmen, Jake. I wasn't paying too much attention since I didn't really know these people and it was just gossip that came up, but they said the following. Belinda trapped her fiancé by having a kid 5 years ago. She's a stay-at-home mum. Belinda and Kathy had a falling out a couple of years ago. Their falling out happened over text because Belinda insinuated that Kathy was trying to steal her fiancé, Jake. It was snide side comments and escalated to a fade out. Kathy was always friendly to Jake but not especially close. She wouldn't hang out with him unless her fiancé was there or Belinda was. Kathy was insulted and confused at the accusation and didn't want to involve herself in weird drama. Kathy decided to take the high road and just drop contact / let it go, but they still give things to Belinda and Jake's kid every year. Jake and Kathy's fiancé are still best friends and kept out of it. Kathy is one of those gorgeous, driven women whose friends are mostly men. She's good friends with most of the groom's friends for several years. They're practically family. Groom has like 10 guys that she's friends with, most of whom are married with kids and were invited to the wedding. It never struck me as weird. Wedding day comes and everything went well with the ceremony. I notice someone comes in at the moment Kathy and groom kiss at the end of the ceremony, but everyone is busy getting pictures to notice. As we sat down at the reception, I noticed a woman is wearing dirty black flowy pants, an old low-cut t-shirt, and a casual black cardigan at the table next over. I realise that she's Belinda and sitting next to Jake. After cake is cut and people are mingling, I notice that Jake couldn't wait to get up and go to the bar to hang out with the guys. Everyone kind of ignoring her or not engaging with her. She looks extremely lonely. All of the guests at her table are up and gone. I felt bad for her and went over to her table to introduce myself with my plate of cake and sit next to her. She's extremely talkative, friendly, and basically word vomited at me with her entire life story. In 10 minutes I found out way too much information. At this moment, I didn't really recall the exact gossip I heard anyway and wanted to keep an open mind. During this time, Kathy shared a dance with her husband, then her father, then her brother. We're watching the dance floor and enjoying the event. Me. I'm so happy for Kathy and Groom. God, I love this cake. I want more. Belinda. Yeah, we used to hang out. She's young and all that though. Me. Well, I mean, she's younger than me by 2 years and she's got her shit together better than I do. I'm really proud of her. Belinda, enthusiastic / tries to sound unaffected. Yeah, I mean, she's just younger than me and I don't know why we stopped talking, but I'm like in my 30s and I don't have time for that, so I'm 10 years older than her. She's like 23, but that's totally okay. I'm just at that point in my life where I have everything I need in life. I'm happy where I am, and if people don't talk to me or keep in contact, that's completely fine. I just have so much stuff going on with my life, like having a kid in my life and dealing with all my health problems. Me, my face is buried in cake, in awe of what she just said. Well, I'm pretty sure she's 26 and managing a company, so that keeps her pretty busy. She's just a very busy person. You know how it is. Belinda. Right, we're all busy with our own friends. I'm just really content with my life as it is, and it's totally fine that people are busy. It doesn't really impact me. She didn't know that I knew somewhat what had happened between them. I'm just trying to keep the conversation light-hearted, but my face is going WTF. Does she know that I'm a bridesmaid? There were a couple of other weird conversations during this time that just didn't add up with Belinda. The reason why I'm wearing this is because I actually had a nice dress for this months ago, but the cashier gave me the wrong size. What happened was I gave the cashier the small size as a go-back and the large size dress to buy, and she got them mixed up. Me. Oh. Belinda. And then today the reason why I was late was because I had to put my kid down for a nap and for my mum to watch him. And then when I went to put the dress on, it was a small size, so I scrambled to find something else. Next, Kathy shares dances with a few of her guy friends, while the groom dances with his mum, close female cousins, etc. I excused myself because I went to go and talk to some other guests and noticed that Belinda eventually left her table too. After a while, I returned back to her table to say my goodbyes, just as Kathy was finishing up a slow dance with Jake, Belinda's fiancé. We were all looking at the dance floor. Me. Man, I wonder if they have more cake. This cake is legit so good. Belinda. Yeah. Me. Kathy and groom look great tonight. Everyone does. Belinda. You know, I never felt jealousy until I started dating Jake. Never. Me. Oh, well, we've all been. Belinda. I went and I found groom and told him that Kathy was dancing with my fiancé and he said he doesn't care. Shrug. Me. I'm pretty sure she danced with all the guys here. And Jenna's husband. And her dad. Belinda. It's okay. She needs this. She gave this pitying smile at Kathy. At this point, my brain was internally screaming. You mean to tell me this person flagged down the bride's husband just to tell him that his wife is dancing with another man at their own wedding in front of all their guests? What? I don't think Kathy meant anything by the dance, but she's not naive. She did it to be a bit petty. There's a few other side conversations that set crazy alarm bells off about Belinda, but I'm glad it wasn't anything too awful at the wedding. I remember the conversation so well because it was so jarring. Edit. Bonus conversation I didn't include because it wasn't relevant, but I got a couple of DMs asking about other weird topics. Me. Oh, you have a kid, right? That's awesome. It's tough being a parent. I really admire people that can take care of kids. Belinda. Oh yeah, he's a sweetheart and so hyperactive. He's the best. Me. Yeah, I wouldn't be able to keep up. That's awesome though. Belinda. Yep, he was a planned kid, so we were prepared. He could be a handful though. It's crazy that the doctor said I'd have trouble getting pregnant because of all of my medical conditions. As soon as I got off them, I got pregnant. Me. Oh wow, that's crazy. Right off the bat too. Nice. I'm happy for you guys. The conversation moved on to a few topics and then alcohol. Me. I think my boyfriend is on his 7th drink. I'm glad to see the guys all get together. Been so long for them. Belinda. Yeah, I shouldn't be drinking at all because of my X, Y, and Z conditions. When I was pregnant with my son, I was 8 weeks pregnant until I found out. I was drinking a lot during that time and taking a ton of pain pills for X condition. Me. Silently picking at the last bit of cake to save me. But your son was planned, right? Belinda defensive. Oh yeah, Jake totally knew about it and everything. We wanted it to happen. He was totally on board with this and everything. I was kind of done by the end of the night when she hit me with the, we should totally hang out sometime. Final edit, I'm not sure what kind of cake this was. Spongy and vanilla mixed with something. Sounds great. Oh my goodness, there's so much to unpack with this one. Let me begin. First of all, I have to say that I'm really pleased that we actually heard this from OP's point of view, because she said that while she was one of Kathy's bridesmaids, she wasn't actually that close to her, which is normal. You know, sometimes brides have bridesmaids that they're not particularly close to for whatever reason, you know, be it family obligations or whatever. And so I feel like this means that we can get quite an unbiased view of the situation. I mean, clearly the negativity is slightly more towards Belinda's side throughout this. However, I think that there is a lot on both sides that's a little bit worrying. First of all, there's clearly history between them. The whole thing about Belinda thinking that Kathy was going out with her fiancé Jake, and how this ended up with pettiness over text and then them not talking to each other. Okay, looking at that, it makes me wonder, was it really necessary to invite Belinda to the wedding? I mean, I know that there's this taboo about if you have one part of a couple, then you should invite the other half, so to speak. But, you know, couples aren't one person. They are two different people, and they can have, you know, different ideas, different views. I don't understand why it was necessary to invite Belinda. I mean, there may have been some taboo. I mean, I don't know what Belinda's like. She might have just crashed the wedding, even if she wasn't invited, just because Jake was there. I mean, that would have been more exciting to read about, I have to say. But there is a little bit of cattiness, and there's this weird sort of obsession with gender roles that I personally just can't understand. Like, there's this whole idea of, oh, she's dancing with men, even though it's at her wedding and in front of guests, and that's kind of like one of the things that happens. I know that there's a photo of my mum on her wedding day having a great big kiss on the cheek from the best man. Now, clearly, she was getting married to my dad. She wasn't going to go off with the best man, so, you know, people are openly affectionate and they dance together and they hug and all of that at weddings, so that's normal. But this weirdness of she needs this, as if Belinda seems to think that Kathy has got some problem with perhaps unfaithfulness that needs to be addressed right there, so she's picking on any little thing. That's really not the way to do it. I mean, let's say, just for sake of argument, that Kathy was going after Jake and that she is the kind to cheat, just for sake of argument. That's not the way to go about it, because if you start nitpicking every little thing, like dancing with someone at a wedding, that's gonna then just make you look like you're not believable, which, you know, Belinda really does in this situation. The whole wearing that clothing to the wedding, I don't know whether this is just because I'm super casual and laid back. I don't really see that much of a problem with it. I don't see a problem with maybe dressing down a little bit for a wedding. I guess it's because, well, my own wedding is coming up, as I mentioned previously, and I'm quite comfortable with my friends coming however they want. But if this is important to someone and you know that you're going to be maybe upsetting them by dressing down a little bit, maybe at least try to wear something slightly smart. I mean, I can't comment because I don't know what she actually had available, but if she said that she had a dress ready, then it does seem like she has the means to actually have a dress ready for a wedding. Also, why did she turn up halfway through? I mean, clearly she wasn't happy to be there. The bride wasn't happy for her to be there. It just seemed like they were both there and both being petty. I mean, even Kathy later on, it says that she was slow dancing with Belinda's fiance. After all of the rumours that happened about Kathy and Belinda, I can't see why she would then deliberately try and antagonise, especially when a wedding is like such a stressful event anyway. I don't think that there's any call for it. I think that it might have made it slightly worse, but this was just painful. This just seems like so many levels of uncomfortable pettiness that was so unnecessary and just could have really easily been avoided had both parties just decided to grow up and realise that they're different people and that maybe a friendship isn't going to work for them. And just because your fiance is going to a wedding to support his male friend doesn't mean that you have to go along. And also, men and women can be friends. That's the one thing that also confuses me, is that I don't know, maybe I'm reading too much into this, but it does seem that Belinda is maybe slightly annoyed with Kathy because she has male friends. This is something I've never been able to get my head around. I mean, I am a member of the LGBT community, but I'm male. I mostly have female friends. I've got a handful of male friends that I'm very close to. I've got friends of all genders, and there's trust between me and my partner, so we've never really had this issue of why are you talking to another man, why are you talking to another woman, because it's like, oh, who's that, oh, they seem cool, oh, yeah, you know, I don't know, this is just something that I personally can't get my head around. Maybe you can understand why such paranoia would exist, but I don't know, it seemed like this was an occasion that should have been about the bride and groom and should have been something beautiful. So this is a screenshot from a Facebook group called Wedding Planning Club. I need to vent. So my future stepdaughter will be getting braces soon. Our wedding is May 23rd, the appointment is for May 7th. I'm upset because I had braces just a few years ago and you smile weird for the first few months and braces photograph terribly, and she's 11 so she'll probably get bright coloured bands. Her mum says there is no way that she is changing the appointment, that it's ridiculous and I would even think that she should. My future husband says I'm being ridiculous, but it's not a big deal. What's your opinion? Am I overreacting? This is a $15,000 wedding that I have worked my arse off to pay for, and I want these pictures to be perfect. Also, it's my first wedding, his second, so it's a lot bigger deal to me than him. Take into consideration that when I met my now stepdaughter, I told them that she needed braces, and my future husband and her mum both said that her teeth were perfect. This has been going on for 2 years now, and they insisted her teeth were perfect and she didn't need braces. November she went to the dentist and he said she needed braces and her mum just wanted to wait. Now nothing has been said about it, and all of a sudden her mum mentions it and says she's scheduling it for May the 7th, which seems to me that it's out of spite. Holy crap! Does this person not realise that they are talking about the teeth, the appearance of an 11-year-old girl? Like, that's what gets me. That's the bit that I just cannot wrap my brain around. Like, there are lots of like little details that people want to be perfect, you know, when the music starts, when people eat, what the first dance is to, you know, there are lots of things that people consider very important, even where you have the first photo, you know, the lighting, all that, I totally understand. But what an 11-year-old girl looks like, this is what it all boils down to. You know, I had super goofy teeth before I had braces. I know what braces are like. But the thing is that who cares? Who cares if this girl has wonky teeth with bright colour bands and a great big metally smile for your wedding pictures? She's a little girl. That's what gets me. It doesn't matter. Why are you fixating upon the appearance of a child? Why do you think that that's going to ruin your perfect picture? Surely, if it's a wedding, it's supposed to be about you and your future husband. Therefore, the only pictures that really matter are the ones of you and your husband, maybe the ones with you and your immediate family. But for you to say that the braces of an 11-year-old girl are going to be ruining the wedding, ruining the pictures, that's just another level of cruel. I feel really sorry for this little girl, because if this is what this person is posting about her on groups and complaining about her teeth, then what is she actually saying to this girl's face? I worry about what kind of a stepmother she's actually going to be. The fact that she said that she was complaining about her braces and her teeth months ago. Why are you fixating so much of it? It would be one thing if it was concern, oh, I think you might need them because she's having dental problems or whatever, then that makes sense. But it seems that she only cares based on appearance. And now the fact that she's saying her mum scheduled her braces for the 7th of May out of spite, come on! Again, this is American. All of my references for health and dental are British, so I don't know. But in my experience, it takes a while to get put on a braces waiting list. I knew that I needed braces from about the age of 11, and I finally got them when I was 14. And they were on for 18 months, and then it was sorted. But it took a while. It took a while to find an orthodontist that had, you know, an opening for a new patient. I had to get it confirmed by different dentists that they both agreed that I needed braces. All of that malarkey. There's no way that it should be rescheduled. Imagine needing dental work and being told no, you can't because your stepmom doesn't want you to look bad for her wedding. That's got to do something to her self-esteem. I know that it would do something to my self-esteem if I was 11 and hearing that for the first time. But now this weird paranoia about, oh, her mum just scheduled in for then out of spite to ruin my wedding. I think the thing is that nobody thought that you would care that much about her braces to make it a big deal about the wedding. Yes, your future husband is correct in thinking that you're ridiculous. Yes, the mum is right in saying that it's ridiculous to have to change the appointment. Why are you obsessing over this so much? Just enjoy your big day. And it makes me think that if they are obsessing over something like braces of a stepdaughter at this point, they're not actually going to enjoy their wedding. It's just going to be a great big stressful event where nothing goes right if this is the kind of petty stuff that they're fixating over. So I figured I'd end this video on a slightly more humorous note, so here we go. I printed a big bag of Dickosaurs, stopped counting at 120, drove 6,000 miles from New Jersey to Washington, then back, placing them at every gas pump, rest stop, and convenience store I stopped at. I gave a handful to a trucker friend in Indiana that placed them in his north/south route. Then, when I got to my brother's wedding, I placed them randomly on the tables. I'm dying to hear if anyone has spotted them. If I even get one spotting from a stranger, it will have all been worth it. Oh my god! No! No, why are you putting dicks on people's tables at a wedding. Okay, so this one took me a couple of reads before I realised what this guy actually did. First of all, if I actually found a dickasaur, I would laugh. I'm not gonna even pretend that I'm not childish enough to find that funny. I would probably steal it and take it home if I found it randomly in a public loo and there was one. I'm terrible, I'm a gross boy, I know. But what gets me is why did you think, you know what, I'm just gonna put dicks everywhere? I mean, yeah, okay, the fact that they are little dinosaurs is funny, but the idea that you would feel the need to leave small model penises everywhere, especially places where children could potentially get them, I just find that kind of erring on the side of this may be slightly predatory. I know that it's clearly supposed to be a joke, but the fact that it is a big sexual joke, slightly uncomfortable, slightly erring on the side of maybe this isn't okay. But also the idea of ruining someone's wedding. Again, we don't know who these people are, we don't know what wedding they have, but if this was someone where they had planned it to the absolute T for ages and then it's absolutely ruined by random dick dinosaurs everywhere, they could be crushed. They might actually be devastated. This could really upset someone's grandma. You don't know what the situation is. I can't believe that I'm ending the video saying this, but please, if you end up having a load of dick dinosaurs 3D printed, don't place them randomly on tables at someone's wedding. It's probably not the best of ideas. Thank you so much for listening to r/wedding shaming. If there are any other subreddits that you would like to hear, or if you would like to hear more of this one, then please do let me know, and I will see you all next time.